Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John's report is for the 6th. We call it the Befana here in Italy, which either brings you, candy or coal, uh, whatever. It's just a thing. It's a national holiday here, but it's also snowing, so that's unusual. From an ES standpoint, though, yeah, we got a little bit of a bounce. It wasn't a surprise. We can see Magenta's move back above. With the following short situation in MDI white. And here we are with the orange continuing to drop at the same time we had the crossover of steel crossing the orange there. And then also now moving above cyan. That should be enough to keep things, from imploding, but it's not a great thing. You still don't have a crossover of cyan, and we're still negative shakeout. So you're still going to have to revisit the lows from the dip back here. So yeah, we might get a little bit of a push continuation, but it's still caught in this range. It's not going to be anything overtly exciting. There's nothing new on the horizon, of course. Then the question comes, what's going on with the Venezuela, Ukraine war? We saw that there was some sporadic firefights or whatever in the city. Will that turn into cooperation? We already saw the U.S. Oil companies improve quite a bit from that situation. But again, it comes back to the broader geopolitical and needing oil prices lower. From an NQ standpoint, you can see that not as big a drop in the orange comparative to what we saw from the S&P, and not quite below that 7.5. So it's a little bit less bullish, and that could be a drag on things. You did get an improvement of the extreme histograms, no longer below the red line, so that's going to add a little bit of support to the upside of it, meaning that you're 50% likely to hold within any move because you don't really have any major short activity at this particular stage. Cause any problems. You got new fund money that's already arrived. So, there's plenty of supply there as far as maintaining things. No real activity on the Treasury side. It's sort of a dead area at this particular point. Oil seeing a bit of a rebound here because, again, once everyone gets past the initial reality of things, they realize, and then nothing's really changed all that much. And, you still have the Ukrainians, bombing and attacking infrastructure of Russia and those potentials. Then you have the Iranian situation. So there's a lot of dynamics taking place. Post issues with Germany and that the euro was in a major free for all, but they backstopped it and popped it back up again. But for what, I don't know. There's really nothing about the Eurozone that is competitive in any way, shape, or form. Germany's manufacturing base is going to zero unless they automatically start converting everything to a war footing and start deficit spending to build arms. What does the Eurozone have to offer anyone? Not a whole lot. Gold's going to continue its rise. It's not even a thing. You clearly have Magenta leading now. You still have a bunch of short activity within it, but the real question has become deliveries. And same with silver. It's like people demanding the actual physical product versus the paper. And that's changed the dynamics quite a bit on things because once you make people actually move the stuff, becomes a very different scenario, and you see the difference between what certificates versus actual transfers of gold and silver do. Yeah, it's had an impact from a BTC situation in that. Yeah, a little bit of excitement from crypto. ETH announced that they've solved their major dilemma that they think is going to bring into the new era of crypto enthusiasm. So that was an excitement, and that moved things slightly from the 50K standpoint. We had an MBI weight spike that came through here, but at the same time, you had Magenta over, so that was a short cover rally, which is really what took place there. And once you dip back below, that's just going to feed right back to the start of it. So we're looking for a move that's going to take us back towards that 69.15 range. Currently at this point, MBI white leads, but Magenta is starting to pop back up a little bit. This is all coming off a gold rise, so that was enough to a double whammy of the short cover along with the rising gold, and that really produces a nice little bounce effect, particularly coming off that 50%, but it's not going to be sustainable, and that is what it is. So you saw the early rally that came across. They filled back part way, but that wasn't quite enough to fill all the positive extremes going back. Really needed to get down towards that 27 level. Um, and that's what they've done here in post market. They filled it back. Where did we get to? 31. So pretty close. So it probably has to do a little bit more to get right in there. So well within expectations. Exactly what we would look for. The beauty of seeing it from the indicator view, you're able to see it directly. As always, anything relevant, I'll put on the team chat. Have a good one. Trade well.